Welcome to South Sea Common and the Simplyhealth Great South Run for 2017. The UK's biggest 10-mile race features the strongest of domestic fields, headed by defending champion Chris Thompson, currently in fine form, having won the Great Scottish Run in Glasgow earlier this month. Joining me in the commentary box will be Dave Moorcroft. It's blustery, but it's bright, it's clear. A lovely day here in Portsmouth for the 28th edition of the Great South Run. 20,000 runners in total today. Here are some of the elites. Lily Partridge broke a marathon PB this year, 2:32, 7th in the Great North Run, 4th here last year. Katrina Woodson, 3rd in the Great Manchester Run earlier this year. She broke 32 minutes for 10,000 metres just last month. And how good is it to see the former European Junior Cross-Country champion Charlotte Perdue coming back to form. A magnificent 13th in the World Championship Marathon in London in August. That was a great run. And Gemma Steel, 7th in the World Half Marathon Championships 5 years ago. European Cross-Country champion and 6th in this race last year. She's the fastest in the field on paper, but this could be a very competitive all-British race. And there they go. The 2017 Great South Run is underway. And joining me in the commentary box, a man who knows a thing or two about running all sorts of distances, former European bronze medalist over 15 and 5,000 metres, and not a bad time over the 5,000 either. Dave Moorcroft, good morning, Dave. A fascinating race, this one.
Morning, Rob. Yeah, it will be a fascinating race, and they've got quite a challenge in the first half a mile. As we know, they're running into a really strong headwind. And we saw all the women lining up, and you can see how cold they were. They'll be delighted now that the race has started. But none of them will be in any hurry to get to the front and push it too hard, because it is such a severe wind. It's not quite Storm Brian of yesterday, but it's a really, really strong wind for the first half a mile, and then a brutal wind for the final 2 miles. So not only have you got to run well today, but you've got to think well. You've got to understand the conditions, run mindful of the fact that that wind is so severe, and try not to do too much too early. It isn't a day for fast times today.
Well, not only is this one of the most important 10-mile road races anywhere in the world, it's also one of the most picturesque, full of history, full of landmarks. Portsmouth War Memorial, the Spinnaker Tower, HMS Victory. Then the 2-mile points. They head down Queen Street past the Guildhall along Winston Churchill Avenue before turning back towards the coast past the Queen's Hotel. And then that long run past the Marines Museum, and then the turn 2 miles into the wind past the Yompa statue. And I wonder who will have the energy in their legs to take the glory. It's going to be a really, really tough finish to a great course and a great day. So we have got that group of around about 8 or 9, with 3 just trying to hang on to the back. Now, we are reliably informed by our cameraman Alwyn, who's held this position here in the dockyard for 10 years, that the flags proudly flying on HMS Victory are still there after commemorating Trafalgar Day, and they spell out, England expects every man to do his duty. So I didn't have the translation of the flags. That's thanks to our cameraman Alwyn, as the leading women head towards and just past the 2-mile point. So they have gone just inside 6-minute pace for that second mile, which is what we were expecting. 8 miles to go. Well, there is the favourite for the men's race, Chris Thompson. A fantastic victory here last year, beating Andy Vernon, reversing the 1-2 from Birmingham earlier on in the autumn, and a fantastic victory at the Great Scottish Run just 3 weeks ago. So Gemma Steel, Charlotte Perdue amongst that leading group, and good to see Gemma coming back to some form and fitness and confidence after some tough years, but who could forget the great performance she produced here in 2013, I think it was, when she finished in second place, just a couple of seconds shy of Bilenesh Algira. In fact, it was 2014. That was a brilliant run, almost beating the World Cross Country bronze medalist from the previous year. So Gemma's got form and history with this event. She knows the course very well indeed. Well, Chris Thompson will be the favourite to defend this title, aiming to be only the second man to do so after Gary Staines, but there'll be some men here hoping to put him under pressure, including Andrew Davis. 6 marathons under 2:20, 31st in the World Championships. Smiling, looks like he's poised and up for it. Excellent cross-country runner, Ben Connor. PB this year of 13:29 over 5,000 metres. 8th in the Great North last year. Matt Sharp. Very good triathlete. 3rd here last year. He's run 2 good marathons this year, London and Berlin. And then here comes Chris Thompson, the defending champion. So many times he contemplated retirement, but he proved in Glasgow there's life in those old legs yet. 36 years young and hoping to dominate here once again in Portsmouth. And the best of the rest are also crowding round behind the male elite. And Dane Kelly-Holmes, one of the official starters there, the double Olympic champion, and let's not forget that great bronze in Sydney from 2000. Not many people talk about that, but that was a fantastic performance from Dame Kelly before she took both golds in Athens, and she'll be taking off the tracksuit and joining in with the final wave, we're told. And actually, after 3:11 in the London Marathon back in April, I'm expecting her to run quite well. But yeah, Chris Thompson will be the favourite for this one, Dave. And I'm guessing that he'll be, knowing this course as well as he does, he'll be a little bit conservative at the start here, because he knows a lot can change in the last 2 miles, especially on a day like this.
What a fantastic view, isn't it? Watching 20,000 people set off on their own little adventure, all running into the headwind, as we know. All have got their own separate challenges and 20,000 different stories. You know, Chris Thompson is the favourite and will probably run 47, 48 minutes today. We've got Claire Lomas, who had suffered that horrific spinal injury a number of years ago, will take 24 hours. And in between, every one of these have got their own challenge, their own reason, their own story.
So Chris Thompson looking good there with Ben Connor alongside, and looks like Matt Sharp there in 3rd place. As I said at the beginning, more people will recognise him as a triathlete, but going well here in the early stages. But this is a good, positive start from Chris.
It is a positive start. I think he's probably out of the strong wind at the moment. But Ben Connor in 2nd place has won one of the most iconic events in British running, which is the National Cross Country Championships. He won it this year.
And here are the women. They've gone through 4 miles, approaching 4.5. Gemma Steel still up there. So too Katrina Wotton. Charlotte Perdue on the left. She too's had some tough days. Not as many injuries as Chris Thompson, but you know, she had a magnificent early part of her career with that European Junior Cross Country title, European Junior Silver over 5,000 metres, 17:52 at 5K.
50 minutes is kind of a benchmark for being a really good 10 miler. And that means you've run every mile in under 5 minutes. So that's kind of a really good club runner. Those that run closer to 45 minutes are getting on to towards the world record. And we reckon today it'll be sort of 47, 48 minutes because of the wind. What Chris Thompson's doing at the moment is just testing the other guy slightly, not making an emphatic move, not making a decisive move. But he's just putting his foot down occasionally and just sort of asking questions and inquiring of the other athletes as to whether they're really up for it today. But at some point, probably, you know, in another 3, 4, 5 miles time, one of them will make a more decisive move. But for Chris at the moment, you must feel full of confidence to be able to push it from the front, mindful of the fact that he's doing all the work for the other guys. But 8 miles to go, plenty of activity, plenty of running yet. and probably the 4 main athletes are at the front as we would have expected.
So they've gone through 5k in 15:08. So they're on, well, around about, what, low 48s at the moment, and that's kind of the time we would expect at this stage, because I'm sure, Dave, they are all aware of how tough that run into the finish is going to be. And it's not as if you turn and you've got 400 metres and you can see the finish line. That's 2 miles, and that's going to be 2 miles of very hard running. So, whilst the elite men have regathered and we have a pack of about 7 or 8, here we have a trio of athletes deciding that it's time to really put an injection of pace in, and you can see what damage that's done to the group that were running together. And what a great British battle this is. Lily Partridge on the left, Gemma Steel in the centre, and then Charlotte Perdue on the right. I think it might be Murray in the background trying to get back on terms with these trio, but 3 of the fancied women side by side, no quarter asked, no quarter given. They're all 3 of them clearly up for this. So the 2 elite races well underway. Meanwhile, many of these runners will be hoping for a personal best, heading through that world famous dockyard as we return to the elite men's race. They've gone through 5 miles, so just over halfway, and Ben Connor and Chris Thompson. Clohessy was leading this group the last time we saw. He's still there. He's in around about 4th place, with Matt Sharp, the former triathlete, in 3rd. But good running here from Ben Connor, deciding to put Chris Thompson under pressure. And 4:40, pretty solid mile.
You know, even in a 10-mile race, you probably only get one opportunity to make a really decisive, aggressive move. And Lily is making that now. She's making a run to break the 2 behind her. She has to get away from them now. She has to believe that she can go right through to the finish. She has to believe that she can take the brunt of that wind on her own. And for Charlotte Perdue and Gemma Steel, they're desperately hanging on. But that little bit of gap, that little bit of daylight, and Lily won't be able to see behind her. But she now has to put major doubt into the minds of Perdue and Steel and really break them, because she needs to break them big to get before she gets into that windy, awful 2-mile finish. Meanwhile, the men's race has got down to 3 runners, and that's largely because Ben Connor has pushed it on. Connor, Thompson, and we think that it'll be Matt Sharp in 3rd place.
Yeah, it is. Matt Sharp was 3rd last year, and Chris Thompson just has a little look to his left and double checks that Matt Sharp is still there. Ben Connor, as you said a couple of times, Dave, he's been quite happy and quite content to be at least alongside Chris Thompson. Clohessy, the Irish Olympian, has dropped back to the 2 Southampton athletes who've allowed a little gap to grow, Mohammed and Alex Toyton. And I think Peter Huck just beginning to struggle a little bit with that pace as well. But this, well, we had a triumvirate of excellence at this stage in the women's race, and so too with the men. Thompson, Connor and Sharp.
And Lily might think, I've got one more move to make, and that probably requires her to be very, very patient, to wait until closer to the finish. Meanwhile, Charlotte Perdue in 3rd hasn't totally been broken, so a lot can happen in the final 2 miles. But at the moment, it's Gemma who's kind of controlling it in 2nd position.
Couple of metres just growing between Ben Connor and Chris Thompson and Matt Sharp. Sharp, remember, was 3rd last year. He's not completely detached, but maybe Chris Thompson here just sensing that Sharp is struggling, and he will be absolutely desperate to finish this autumn series with back-to-back victories, having won in Glasgow. Sharp's beginning to struggle, but Connor's still right there. Into the last mile. Gemma Steel just put a couple of metres on Lily Partridge there, and Partridge instantly responding. But surely the psychological advantage at this stage, Dave, is with Gemma Steel, because Partridge made a very, very early bold bid to get away from Gemma Steel and Charlotte Perdue. Steel is posing the questions, and Partridge now has to find the answers into the teeth of a brutal headwind.
Yes, the advantage is with Gemma, and Lily Partridge has run such a tough race. But again, Gemma's now made a break that is decisive. Again, there's no coming back as far as Gemma's concerned. So it's still, you know, just under a mile of running into a very, very strong wind. Chris Thompson is the favourite. He's the guy with the pace at the finish. But if you're shattered, and if Connor can just dig a bit deep, you can outrun the sprint finishers. And for Connor, he's kind of got to make his mind up, really. Am I happy to finish second and finish behind Chris Thompson, the favourite? Or do I really believe that I can beat Thompson? Do I really believe that I've got one more effort and maybe this is it, when I can really feel that I can put Chris Thompson under pressure?
The head is bobbing a little bit, not too dissimilar to the great Paula Radcliffe. She had a little look over her shoulder there just to double check that Lily Partridge is sufficiently far behind not to cause her a problem. 200 metres to go for Gemma Steel. She is on her way to adding her name to a rich and illustrious list of former champions. Make no mistake, this will mean a lot to Gemma Steel. She's beaten a fine domestic British field. She follows the likes of McColgan, O'Sullivan, Tulu, Radcliffe, Vivian Chariot and Tiranish de Barber as a winner of one of the world's most prestigious 10-mile road races, and she's done it the hard way. A brilliant tactical run. She's still accelerating, still driving for the line. A fine, fine victory for a fine athlete. Gemma Steel wins here in Portsmouth. What a run. A great performance in brutal conditions, and look at the delight on her face.
She's delighted, and so she should be. Thumbs up. I think a fantastic run by Lily Partridge and Charlotte Perdue. But the day belongs to Gemma Steel. 55 minutes, 25 seconds. In these conditions isn't bad, but it's the victory that really matters. And she's come close before, as you said, Rob, finishing second. But today is her day. She joins that great list. She ran so intelligently, full of guts, full of determination, and she should enjoy and cherish this moment, because it's a very special one and one she fully deserves. She is the Great South Run champion.
And Chris Thompson's now really digging in, and now you do get, by the ruffling of the vests across their torsos, you do get just about enough of an impression as to how tough that headwind must be. Tomo's pinning his ears back and he's going for this. This would mean a great deal to him, Dave. We talked to him yesterday. We know that he's aware there have been as many frustrating days in his career as there have been gratifying, and he would love to go into the winter period with back-to-back victories. He wants to defend this title. It's a little slice of history. It's an achievement that hasn't been done since 1994, and now he's got a few metres on Ben Connor, and Connor now is the one who has to dig in. And Toyton, by the way, is beginning to close on Matt Sharp, so we've got a real battle here for first and for third. Connor's got to find something here, surely, Dave. He cannot allow this gap to grow any bigger.
He can't, and you can see that Chris Thompson is hugging the curb, trying to get a little bit of break from that brutal wind. And Connor, I think, now is broken. And Chris has really got to get his head down, because that little gap needs to become a big gap so that Chris, in inverted commas, can enjoy the final 400, 800 metres. The Ninjas are doing well, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they'll be nice and warm. It's quite cold today, despite the fact that we've enjoyed some lovely early autumnal sunshine. But yeah, that's still a brave costume for the Turtles. I'm sure they'll be spotted in a pub at 10 o'clock tonight, looking slightly worse for wear, but I'm sure they'll enjoy their evening, and they'll enjoy the rest of this race. There's still 8 miles to go. A little glance over his shoulder, and Chris Thompson knows he's away and clear. He almost retired in 2008. He briefly contemplated retirement at the Great North Run this year. He always says No matter how frustrating your time is, keep going, keep driving. And a great battle going on for second place. Matt Sharp coming past Ben Connor, and Toyton's going to have to dig in if he's going to finish third. Now the clench of the fist. Chris Thompson becomes the first man in 23 years to successfully defend this title. So often it's gone wrong, so often his body's let him down, but not today. Chris Thompson is the Simplyhealth Great South Run champion again. An amazing second place finish there for Matt Sharp. Connor does hang on for third, and Toyton just off the podium in fourth. A great run from all four men, but Chris Thompson is the one who has once again tasted victory here in Portsmouth in brutal conditions. Two brilliant races. Chris Thompson coming out on top by 3 seconds. Matt Sharp, the former triathlete, upgrading third place last year to second this time round, and Ben Connor just holding off the fast finishing Alex Toyton to finish in third. Gemma Steel, second in 2014. She's come out on top in 2015. Lily Partridge made a brave bid for glory at around the 7-mile marker, second place for her. And Charlotte Perdue finishing a brilliant year after a lovely run at the World Championships in London in August. She's finished third here in Portsmouth.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the competitions. I found that there's no pressure and it was just really relaxed at the start. I thought we were out on a training run. So, yeah, until it heated up halfway, yeah, it was really enjoyable. And then, yeah, when it broke away, it was even more enjoyable. So, yeah.
What about you, Chris, though? Not such a fan of the wind?
No, that was tough, really tough from the word go. At no point did I feel particularly comfortable, but that was classic racing. That was there was no way of getting away from any of those lads. If you're at the front, I was trying to press, but everyone was too comfortable behind, and it turned into a real ding-dong battle. And eventually, once it became me and Ben, it was just mind games the whole way. It was just classic neck-to-neck kind of who's feeling that little bit better. It was fun to be part of, but it was tough.
So Chris Thompson makes it back-to-back victories on the South Coast, a fine end to a fine season for the popular athlete. That's it for the Great Run series of 2017. We'll be looking back at the best of this year's action in our review programme. Whilst don't forget, you can keep up to date on our website, greatrun.org. For now, though, it's goodbye from Portsmouth.